Well, he's got Kerry Pharr in his corner. Kerry Pharr knows the boxing game.
Hello, friends. I'm Kerry Pharr. Welcome to In Your Corner. We've got a dear friend and an award-winning Christian country artist from Nashville, Tennessee these days. I'm talking about Miss Paula Slow. Hello, Paula. Welcome to In Your Corner.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm doing excellent as always. Better now that you're on the set. Now, Paula, you've had some monumental success in Christian country music. Tell us a little bit about your singing career.
Well, I've been singing since I was young. Really, the started in when I was a kid, singing into brushes. You know, you all did that, right? I think, and with my cousin dancing around and stuff. But then in high school, junior high school, I was in Little Abner, the production, and I was Moonbeam. And we had a classmate that was very small, so I picked him up and ran down the middle of the aisle in the audience with him. It was fun. That got me started with that stuff. And then we moved to a smaller town in northern Minnesota called the Chisago Lakes area.
Very cold up there.
But very beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And good people, good town. And so Chisago, Lindstrom High School, I went to high school, and we had a choir director that really made a difference in my life, Mr. Erickson. And we had a choir, and then we had what was called a stage choir, where he pulled different kids out and made a smaller choir. And, you know, in high school, sports are big deals, right? Our music was just as big a deal in that school, which is phenomenal. So we got to do a lot, even the band members too. And so we recorded 2 albums in Minneapolis. I sang You've Got a Friend on one, and then the other one, I keep forgetting to look it up, but with Holly, my friend, we did a duet, and I don't remember what duet it was. But so I had great experience in high school. Then I was Maria in The Sound of Music. So that kind of solidified that I was going to sing.
Well, absolutely. So fast forward us, 20 years and tell us what was happening. You 20 years ago from this date, you were doing really well in Nashville, and your music career was cut short for a couple of reasons.
Yes. I had just won 2 awards, the Christian Country Female Vocalist of the Year in 2003, and then the Country Gospel Guild in Arkansas, Hot Springs, the same year for female vocalist. And I felt like God asked me one day, are you willing to pay the price? Well, back in Wisconsin, where we were living at the time, there was a guy who did tour. He had a tour bus for years and was a friend of mine. And I asked him one night, and he said, I was in somewhere I got off the bus and said to my manager, where are we? And I knew that meant you pay a price. And people think it's so glamorous, touring and all that. And it can be fun because if you love your fans, which I've always loved the people in the audience, it's rewarding, but at the same time, that is grueling. And so he couldn't figure out where he was because he was so tired and exhausted.
Yeah, well, you're basically become a road warrior. Our
Yep.
common friend, Jonathan Bond, puts 100,000 miles a year on a car and is doing dates 2 or 3 nights a week all over the country.
All over. And he says we've been friends for 30 years, but we haven't. It's not that long.
Yeah.
But he's a great guy. And this is a good time to bring up this plaque behind us.
Yeah.
And this is what it's about. He did 20 duets, or 18 duets with different people and put out this Dueling Voices. And I was privileged to be one of them. And the song we did was called, isn't it terrible when you can't think of your own song?
You got your glasses on, you can read it.
Yeah, I'm looking. Where'd it go? Less of Myself. And, but he put that out, and it has sold 1 million copies already. And now I don't know where it's at, but we got a platinum
record.
Yes. Well, shortly thereafter, I took assessment of things going on and not going on. And I said, you know, God, you're giving my friend a bus over here. They're getting to do this and that. And unless you step in now and help me, it's taking too much money. I don't know if anybody knows this about the music business, but it takes a lot of money. It doesn't matter what genre you're in. It takes a lot of money to do the things that need to be done. That's just the nature of this world.
So what happens? I mean, you and 100 of our friends pay for your own production.
Yep.
And basically pay to travel. But yet some of these guys that hit the really big time, they have a company pay for it on the front end, but they pay dearly on the back end, don't they? Tell us how the music business works.
Well, years ago, I had an appointment with my husband with me, and it was a known label, and the person said they would work with me, but wanted me to come up with $50,000 up front.
Yeah.
Like second mortgage your house. And I went, no.
Yeah.
Because I had 4 children. I wasn't going to risk my house for me. That to me was selfish. And I thought, okay. But usually if they find an artist they like and a voice they like, they'll put out the money, millions, to get them going and promote them and everything else. But I see in the music business, what ends up happening is they take away a lot of the times the identity of that person.
Yeah.
And they tell them what they can and cannot do. And then that person just shrivels up and isn't as great as they could have been.
Yeah. And your purpose is to share the gospel. You're a Christian artist,
Yes.
and you want to tell people about Jesus as well as sing, right?
Right. Ever since I was a little girl, I always imagined writing songs that would make people stop and think about the choices they've made in life, or have a scenario of real life where you can feel what the people are feeling, so that you can maybe change your behavior, and actually that is exactly what has been coming out of me. And I write a lot with Corey Lee Barker. He's well known here in Nashville, and I so appreciate him. And
he's well known. But, there came a time 4 years ago where your husband that you've been married to since you were very young, passed away. Tell us how that impacted your life and your career.
Well, when I came off the road for 20-some years, I had #1 songs overseas. I had success here. And I just decided that I didn't have the resources or the finances to keep going. I needed to raise my family. So God kept talking to me over the years and saying, I'm not finished with you yet. And about 4 years before my husband passed away, probably 5 years or so, I said, well, God, if you don't hurry up, I'm going to be singing from a rocking chair. And God has a sense of humor.
Well,
You know what he said?
What did he say?
He said, how old was Sarah in the Bible when she had the baby? And I went, I'm good. She was 99.
Yeah, we won't tell your age, but you have more energy than a barrel of monkeys. I don't, you're not going to be in a rocking chair for a long, long time. So take us back and tell us about losing your husband and how that reinvigorated your career.
Well, God was speaking to me over the years. He wasn't finished. So I was like thinking we could retire. We were out in North Dakota in the Bakken oil fields. I ran and managed a safety store, and he was in safety. He taught the men safety and watched over the safety for the company.
Safety manager, and did safety meetings with the workers every day. Yeah.
And so we decided we were going to go visit his mom and dad in North Carolina. And we went for 3 weeks. And I said, are you sure you want to go that long? And he said, yeah. I was out of work at the time, but he was still working. And he said, yes. So we went. We had a great time with his mom and dad, his sister and brother. And we were looking for land at the time because we thought maybe we should move by them, and started, looking ahead. And we came back, and we both got sick. Now, there were people sick at his work, and my friend was sick, and she didn't know it, and I went and visited her. So he always blamed it on Rita. But anyway, it was what they called the COVID. And he ended up in the hospital, and my youngest daughter got to be with him. It was a good experience. They had a traveling doctor. We think he was an angel. We really do. I had another friend that was treated by him and felt the same thing. And so we got to do unconventional stuff. But that was just one day. And they were going to fly him to the east side of the state. And he finally said 15 minutes before the helicopter, I want to go home. And there was a doctor on that had treated my daughter and me in the past, and local man. And he said yes. And he wrote up prescriptions for some things he needed. And we took him home. And about a week later, his heart gave out.
So that was, you were in North Dakota then, and I guess somebody in your family moved to Tennessee, and you thought it'd be a good time to resurrect your music career.
Well, that was also difficult because I had my son who lived on our property, my oldest daughter who lived a little bit, in North Dakota, and my youngest daughter was a little ways away. My middle daughter had stayed in Wisconsin, so she was still there. And the year after he passed away, my oldest daughter, Janelle, went and came here to Tennessee. The next year, my youngest daughter went over to North Carolina. And so I was like, oh boy. And I had decided that I would come here. And then my father-in-law was still alive, and he said, I think you should come by us, still come by us. And he said, will you pray about it? I go, I'm way ahead of you because I already decided I was coming without checking with God. But then he passed away.
Oh, my.
And so then at that point, I asked God again, and I felt I just needed to come here.
And so you're now in Nashville, but you had a presence in Nashville 20 years ago. So it wasn't new to you. You understood how things worked here in Tennessee in the music business.
Yes. And one of the ladies who helped Gene Higgins in the Christian country way back then, Darlene Fowler, has her own independent label, MC1 Nashville. And I got together with her before I moved here, and we planned on putting out a song that I had just written with a friend called Here Until, because during that, 19, 20, 21, when we had the COVID thing going on, I heard a lot of Christian people online saying, Papa's going to take us out of here, this evil world. And I was praying daily, things God had given me to pray. And one of them was, I'm standing on the foundation of Jesus. If he comes and raptures me out, I'm great with that. If he doesn't, I'm here and going to do what he's called me to do.
You're going to be a warrior for the Lord.
Yes, and that's what the song was about. But when it came time to release a song, I heard him distinctly say, no, put From Afar out, which is something I recorded years ago.
Beautiful, beautiful song.
Yeah, I didn't write that one, but oh my goodness, it's the message when I got it years ago made me cry.
Now you have a music video, From Afar, right?
Yes.
So let's do this. Let's take a break right this second and let people watch From Afar. I absolutely love that song.
I do too.
You like it too, right?
I do.
Friends, stay tuned for just a moment. Paula and I will be right back after she sings From Afar.
He walked the dusty roads. He labored on to get to those who needed him. They all needed him. He used his hands, he went to homes where most men would never go, but he went in because they needed him. He did not love them just from heaven. He loved them from the cross. Do you love from afar? Can you wipe away a tear from where you are? We drive by and see the faces in sin's ugly Jesus loves, that's who we should love. Not with love we only speak, but with love out in the street where they live. That's what Jesus did. He did not love them just by praying. He loved them with his blood. From afar, can you wipe away a tear from where you are? We drive by and see the faces in sin's ugly places. Maybe it's time we give our heart, for no one's really from afar. I don't want to love from afar.
That video is just as beautiful as the first time I heard it. I'm sure everybody is loving what they've just seen. How would somebody find your music or find Paula Slow?
Through Orchard Records, a subsidiary of Sony. I am out on all the platforms. And the videos, you can find them on YouTube, Spotify, but I've got From Afar out there and You're the Only One. And actually, You're the Only One is up for a Josie Award this year. So
tell us what happened to From Afar, and then and take us forward, because we were just at the Infinity Awards, and you were nominated for like 5,000 awards, and you came home with 3. But start with From Afar and bring us forward.
Well, we put out From Afar, and I wanted to explain about the song because I worked in bars for years singing. I worked with a band in Wisconsin. I also ran karaoke shows for years. And I had Christian people saying, you shouldn't be in those places because you're promoting drinking. But what they didn't see is what you would see behind the scenes, like when you're doing a movie or a video. And it was that I lived out that song. That's why when I got the song, and it even chokes me up now.
You weren't a partaker. You were there as an evangelist, basically.
Well, I was there as myself, who is a Christian, which Jesus did, and that's what the song's about. He went where no one else would go, but he went in because they needed him. I chose to be a singer, and so I ended up in those places, even at the age of 18. But people would come and smell my drink, and here it was water or Coke, and they're like, how can you be so animated? I said, because God is good. And so From Afar meant so much to me because the Christian people were staying in their box and not reaching out, where if you're open to God, he takes you and I pray with people in Walmart.
Of course you will, but this was a ministry for you is what you're saying. Yes. Okay.
And so what they didn't see was people coming up and saying, my grandson's in the hospital. They don't know what's going on. Could you pray? Well, I didn't say, I'll pray for you. I grabbed them. If I was up at the front by my equipment, by the bar, wherever I was, and I prayed with them. They became my friends, and their lives changed, some of them. And it wasn't me. It was Jesus.
Yeah.
that was presented to them, and I would tell stories. You know, Jesus told the parables, right?
Absolutely.
And so I'd tell stories about how he worked in my life or someone else's life. I remember a grown man one night, just tears streaming down his face, standing at the bar when I shared something. I don't know what God did, but I let God take care of that. And so when I got that song, I knew that God was right. It had to be out.
And that is a fabulous song, and you see in the video where you were ministering. Now, bring us forward, because you've been in Nashville 3 years now,
Yes.
and you've had, you know, some great success.
Yeah, that song was #1 for 3 weeks in a row on We Make Hits chart.
On We Make Hits charts. Explain the difference in charts, because I think Billboard is the biggest one, right?
Yeah, it is. And these are like secondary charts, but at least it gets you started and people to get your name out there. Cashbox, Cross Country, and Christian Voice, Wilder Association owns them. Cashbox is very well known and been around for a long time. So, so that same song in May of 24 went to #1 on the Inspirational Country chart in Christian Voice. And so it had some success. And the great part about it was being on that one chart for 3 weeks, Jason Crabb was right behind me. And I went, he had God can use a broken man, right? And I knew it would kick me off. And so I prayed and I said, God, I know he's going to kick me off. Could you please put it back up? 2 weeks after he hit #1, my song went back to #1. So you never know what God's going to do.
That's great company. Jason Crabb has an incredible voice.
And you know, not all of us who profess to be Christians live it out, and Jason does. He's an incredible singer, an incredible person, and he lives the life.
Well, amen. So what's happened since then, Paula? Because how long ago was From Afar released?
That was 23, the fall of 23.
So bring us forward and tell us what you've been doing in the last couple of years.
Well, then in like February of 24, we released You're the Only One. And that is what I call a stealth bomber. It was written by my friend John Lamonis here in Nashville years ago. And it talks about really loving relationship, right? It's a love story. But then there's one line in it that just brings it all into focus, and it says, "An eternity was mine." That's the line that brings you to the point that this is about the Lord. And yet, the video we did showed a couple getting married, but it also had a time in there where they were reading the Bible together. So it brought the two meanings of that song together. And I absolutely love it. And that's the video that's up for the award for Josie.
And the Josie Awards are coming up in just a couple weeks here, right?
Yes. And I haven't got a ticket yet. I don't know if they're sold out. I might not be able to even show up.
That'd be terrible. You win an award and not be there, right?
Well, yeah. But time gets away from you and you're busy doing stuff. And I think about it and then forget.
Well, Paula, you were just at the Infinity Awards. My wife, Latrell, and I were there with you, and we saw you win 3 awards. Tell us about that experience.
It's very, I want to leave it in perspective. It should be a humbling thing. I don't want to elevate myself, but I do believe that God does these things to encourage us, and that's the way we need to look at them. And one was Female Vocalist of the Year for Inspirational Christian Country. One was Entertainer of the Year for Inspirational Christian Country, and one was Artist of the Year for Christian Country. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that the fans voted initially for the nominations, and out of 18, I still remained in 16 categories. And I'm very grateful and love my fans. And but you know what's more important than that is I recently wrote a song called I Can Do Better. I can't not cry because when my husband passed away, you reflect on
what was his name?
His name was James Tribune Slow, and we called him Trib. Yeah. And anyway, when he passed away, I reflected on things I could have done different, things where I had let him down, you reflect. You've gone
yeah.
through that, and it's a natural process. And so Corey Lee Barker and I wrote I Can Do Better. And when I've played that live to date, not very often I haven't, but I inevitably have someone come up to me and say that it made them cry, and they're crying when they tell me. And a lot of people are having trouble in their relationships. So it was written based on what I saw that I didn't do or should have done. And it's not to beat yourself up. It's just a reflection. And I can do better. And that's what they're picking up. One lady took a video of it when I sang it here live one night. And she's sharing it with a family member because they're having trouble in their marriage. 2 ladies said that they're having trouble in their marriage. And the one shocked me because they were talking about doing ministry together, but everybody has trouble, right? You have rough spots in your marriage. And so she just, tears streaming down her face, sitting next to me. And the other lady wanted to give it to her husband, and they were having trouble. And their friend, when I told her that I had given it to her, she cried because they love them so much, the couple, and they're praying for them, and for her to ask for that song, she was just blessed by that. And so now in Branson this week.
Yeah, you were in Branson.
Yes, and I sang it, and a lady came outside. I was out talking to some friends. She came out to find me, and tears in her eyes, saying, yes, she had lost her husband. She was remarried, but she had reflected on the same things, and that just spoke to her.
Wow, that's amazing.
And that's more important to me than the awards.
Yeah, because you're touching hearts and souls for Jesus.
Which is what my little child heart wanted to do.
And you still got that child's heart. And we love you, and we love your animation, I guess, Paula, and your hysterics and your dancing. But we haven't talked about You and I love that song of yours. Tell us about it.
You and I it's on this old album of mine. I was in Hendersonville with Mike Shrimp.
Hendersonville is in Tennessee. We're talking about just north of Nashville.
Recording this in 2000. Mm-hmm. And my house burned down. There's a picture of my house. Totally burned to the ground in Wisconsin.
Where can people find this? I know they would love to have you at paulaslow.com or
you can go to paulaslow.com and you can email me, or you can you can email. And actually the email on there isn't one that gets checked a lot, so just paulaslow@yahoo.com. paulaslow@yahoo.com, and we can fix you up with one of these. You and I is on here. In the studio, I was staying here with a friend who used to live in Wisconsin. She worked for Nelson Thompson Publishing, and I didn't realize she had Mike's number. She called, and he got the phone call. He was at the council, and it was just after the musicians had laid the music down for all the songs. And after lunch, we were going to come back, and I was going to start singing the vocals. And got the call. Long story short, it was her telling me that my house, she didn't tell me what happened. There was an emergency at home. Everybody's okay. So I had to go over to her house, which was across town. And I had a young girl about 15 with me who was a fan of mine. And we went and we're talking as we go, wondering what it was. Anyway, she told me that my house had burned to the ground. She had a similar experience visiting her kids down here in Tennessee when she still lived up in Wisconsin, and her husband was a pastor and had passed away in a car accident. And so she brought a coworker with because it shook her because of the tragedy again, and it reminded her of what she had gone through. So that friend was there. She told me, we went in the house, and we prayed, and her roommate came home in the middle of it and said, God said he's proud of you because you're not focusing on the tragedy, and he will restore. And it was just, it was a hard time, but it was a good time. And my husband was traveling. He wasn't home either.
Yeah.
The girls the youngest one didn't want to go to school because she didn't feel good. So we had open enrollment in Wisconsin, and my older girls went to a different school district. So the oldest one took the middle one to school and came back. By that time, my younger daughter decided she was going to school. She grabbed one of her favorite horses that she played with and went to school.
Wow. Let me ask you a question. You started doing this 20 years ago and gave it up because you didn't want to take resources from your family. You were still raising your children. Now, you're a very young-looking grandmother.
Of?
Well,
a lot of them.
a lot of them. Well, that's a blessing.
Yes, it is.
But, so many young people come to Nashville, like Aubrey Dittmer, who's on The Voice right now.
Oh, she's so
like,
good.
She's like 21 or 22 years of age. So, and she's on The Voice, and yet she's going to have a hard time breaking into big-time music. What is it like for a grandmother to try and be successful in this industry?
It's difficult at any age.
Yes.
But especially when you're older, because for some reason in our country, we think that you have to be young and, youthful. That
well,
we don't have
you're
anything.
Definitely youthful. You've got more energy than anybody
Well, I had
know.
a 25-year-old woman, tell me recently, I can't even keep up to you. So I'm blessed, and I'm thank God for that, because I see people my age who cannot function very well, and I am blessed. And I guess I feel like it's because it's part of my calling, and God knows what He's called me to, and I need to have that.
I've seen you when your
it.
batteries are worn down,
Yeah.
but most of the time you're like the Energizer Bunny times 10.
Yes.
Paula, what do you want to accomplish? I mean, Latrell and I married 3.5 years ago, and she felt like the Lord had said He was going to redeem the time and give she and I time to do ministry, to tell people how to come to Jesus. And if you don't know our Lord and Savior, all you've got to do is admit to Him that you're a sinner, ask Him to forgive you, and ask Him to come in your heart and save you. And that's our purpose. But Latrell felt like, the Lord was going to redeem the time and give she and I time to minister. And I don't want to, I'm like my old Sunday school teacher, Zig Ziglar. I'm not giving up. I'm not shutting up until I'm taken up.
No.
And so I want to keep going. What is it that you're looking for in the latter part of your life?
To do what God has called me to do. And He, like I said, is talking to me over the years where I was out singing at home, but not on this level. And He's brought me back on this level, and there has been some successes. But of course, it's always really slow progress. And I've learned to thank Him every day for that which He's doing, which means behind the scenes where you don't know what He's doing, and for the results that He's bringing. And recently, I've always liked to act. I was in musicals and stuff. And when we lived in North Dakota, in Williston, there was a theater group. And I did a few things with them. And it was such a wonderful experience. And Jack was the producer, and he came back from New York because he had moved to New York. He used to be a dance instructor in the area. And he was so wonderful to work with. And he did pass away, so I'm sad about that. But just wanted to do that too. And I felt God say, not only are you called to go back to the singing, but I've called you to the entertainment industry as a whole, all kinds of things. And so I took some acting lessons here in Franklin at
Tennessee.
Yep. What's it called? They have the theater there, and it's
Studio 10?
Yeah. Yes. And they had a
my son-in-law
master.
is now the executive director of Studio 10.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Jason
He's great.
Campbell, yeah.
Jason's great. And so I took a master acting class. It was really good. And
So you want to do theater and you want to do film.
film. Yes, that's what I'm called to. And so then from there, I did a Zoom class with Britton Webb. He's a known actor. He's been on Hallmark movies and stuff. He's from Mississippi. And just with a pastor, there was just the two of us because we had missed the class that he had. So he said, "You want to do a Zoom?" And so I said, "Yeah." And that was a wonderful experience. And I do need to get down there and go to Pastor Joe's church, too. He wants me to come sing.
Yeah.
But Britton had a weekend where he brought in a veteran actor, Jim Gleason, and that was amazing. And so when I came back from that,
So you went to Mississippi for a
Yes.
weekend acting class.
yes,
Yeah. I wondered-
not a week, just a weekend.
Yes.
And Jim said to me, I've been watching you in class, and we were going to do a video after the first class. And he said, you're very animated. You need to tone it down.
Where have I heard that before?
Yeah. And so I tried. And after the video, he goes, you still need to tone it down some more. So, I mean, I really appreciate that, though, and understanding things. Because when you do film, you need to let it just come out of you with what you do.
Yeah.
Most, but not over animate like theater. And I was used to theater. But the thing that happened was the week after I came back that weekend and that week, I met some movie people around here. And we were talking, I just was sharing about, they asked me about my life. Well, they felt like there was a lot there that I could do in a movie that would speak to people. They need 20,000 faith-based movies a year. That's a lot. And so I thought, who's going to want to know my story? But at the same time, as we started talking about it, I realized that God can use our story can speak to other people. You don't have to be a grand, big person. God has done things in your lives that can speak to other people. And so we went ahead and we got the script written.
So you're trying to produce a movie about Paula Slow's life.
Yes.
And how's that coming?
It's all done.
What's all done? The film's done?
The script is done.
Yeah.
We
so
have
what do you need to produce the film?
They don't charge what Hollywood does.
Yeah.
And yet I've seen a movie that they just recently finished. It made me cry. It is so well done. And they have other movies. And God confirmed that it was okay to work with them through a friend of ours, Taffany, because I asked her a question.
Daphne Williams.
And she answered my question, but she gave me more than that. She's worked with them on a project of theirs too. So I am just like really ecstatic, but we do need $325,000 and we can do it.
Okay.
And Corey and I had just written a song 3 weeks before that when we wrote I Can Do Better called Unbreakable Destiny. And I played it for Michael, one of the film guys, and he said, oh, that could be like the title track. And he goes, that should be the title of it. So that's the title of what we want to produce. It's called Unbreakable Destiny. It walks through my life from starting at high school forward. Mm-hmm. And Corey and I are writing the song, and I keep flashing back. And then some of it's based on like the last 3 years or,
of your life. Yeah.
Kind of.
So if you've got $325,000 and you feel God is calling you to help Paula produce this film, go to paulaslow.com or reach out to us and we'll connect you with her. But, if the Lord's laid this on your heart, what other resources do you need?
Well, I got to tell them this. For anyone that would invest, there's an IRS code 181, and dollar for dollar what they invest comes off taxes.
So it's tax deductible.
Yes.
Okay. What else do you need? What tools do you need in your career to finish what God's called you to do?
Resources, which I pray for resources. I don't pray for money. I pray for resources, which can be open doors, an affiliation with someone, a network with someone who can open other doors. And I need to get bookings. I have spent 2 years building what I would say my profile back up in the music industry. And I believe that God has really answered that and helped. It's coming along.
You've got a good following. You've got a real good following now.
Well, and I want to keep building on it. But now I need a manager, which I think I have one coming the end of the year, who's a go-getter, and exactly someone who believes in you. And this industry in every aspect can be so awful. My children worry about me because there's been some things that have happened that are not good. And I pray about everything I do, but you still have things happen. It's the nature of the world and this business especially. It's tough. Entertainment is tough. And so I just need the fans, and I love the fans. Recently, the Troubadour Theater needed somebody in their smaller VIP lounge to help with their karaoke shows. Well, I did that for years, and I had told LaDonna there while back, I said, if you need help ever, I will help you out. And so they needed it for like 2 weeks, and I had so much fun because I was out there with people again because I haven't been singing. And so connecting with people was just awesome. And so that's I need more of that. I need bookings where I can go out and do what I do. And you put a good band behind me,
Yeah.
I fly.
And if you are a manager of, people in the industry and you can help Paula Slow, paulaslow.com. Paula, before we close, is there anything that I haven't asked you that people should know about you or that you want to share with them?
My heart is for our country to go back, especially the tragedies that have happened in the past month with Charlie Kirk and the woman from Ukraine, and just the atmosphere over the political issues in this country. We have lost knowing our neighbors and loving one another. And God, He said the first commandment was to love Him with all your heart, your soul, your mind. And the second of these is just as important, and that is to love your neighbor. Now, I can disagree with them, but I still love people in all walks of life. And that's what we've lost, and we need to come around and help each other. And I want to promote that. In the music industry, I believe that we should help each other. We're not competing against each other. It doesn't matter what music you're in. I'm there to support you. And I have a lot of friends I keep picking up on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok that are in music. And so I enjoy helping other people. I just helped another artist that I just met try and get something done for him. And I love doing that too, and God told me to do that. So that. And then also, I have a new song coming out next month. It's not a Christian song necessarily, but God wants us to have fun. And I have fun.
Paula is one of those girls that just wants to have fun.
Yes.
Want to have fun.
But it's called Good Kinda Crazy. And after Jenna Murata and I wrote it, I realized it was about me. I mean, not about me, like just that's the kind of person I am. And it just makes me laugh because of the lyrics we wrote into it. So we just had a photo shoot here at your house and other places around.
Oh, we went to a local creek with a little waterfall and a big bluff. And that's one other thing you've got to share before we close. You're going to New York City shortly, and you're going to have your picture of, I guess, your new CD on
It's going to be
Square.
Announcing the release of Good Kinda Crazy on the second largest billboard in Times Square, The Bird. The Beast is the biggest one, and this is The Bird. I've had this ready to go since spring, but I didn't think it was the right songs yet to put out. And then this one came along, and I went, oh, yes. So, and then Jenna, who I wrote it with, and my other friend C4, they both are from New York. And so I did not want to go to New York and put out a song and have the billboard and go there because I have no idea how to navigate. But they both live there, so we're going to sing at a club. I don't remember the name of it, but I will post it. And we are going to be sure that we get pictures with Jenna and I in front of that and C4. The billboard when we're there, and just enjoy New York with only my friends who would know their way around.
It's fabulous. Paula, before we close, can you share your testimony of faith in Jesus Christ?
Yes. A lot of people can pinpoint when they came to know Jesus. And I'm not going to tell you I can do that. It was a gradual process as I was a young girl. I just started talking to Jesus. I was brought up Lutheran, and I got to say the Lutherans teach the Bible. Mm-hmm. And they really taught me those things. And so as I just kept talking to Jesus, I just kept growing. And you know the country song that came out a while ago, Riding with Private Malone? I'm riding with Jesus. I would be driving as a young girl, young woman, and just talking to him. I talk to him all the time. Your wife and I were talking this morning how we just communicate with God all day long. We do. And it's just natural. And so it was just a gradual process. And I'm so thankful for him being in my life. Going through the things that I've gone through in my life, I don't know how anybody can get through them sanely without having him in your life.
Amen. Paula, thank you so much for sharing your amazing story with us on In Your Corner. Friends, thank you for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next edition of In Your Corner.
That's all, folks.